She already likes you. That is the part nobody talks about. The attraction pipeline between a man and a woman who are already close, who already trust each other, who already have a real history together, is not empty. It is full of accumulated data about who you are, how you make her feel, what it is like to be in your presence. The only thing missing is one specific type of experience that transforms all of that existing emotional material into something physical, something she feels in her body rather than just her mind. And that experience takes less than 3 minutes to create. What I am about to show you is not a pickup technique borrowed from a stranger context and applied to someone who knows you. It is something fundamentally different, because with a stranger, you are building something from nothing. With a friend, you are not building anything. You are lighting something that is already there, something that has been accumulating in the dark, invisible to both of you, waiting for the specific kind of spark that transforms familiarity into desire. I am going to show you exactly how to create that spark. Not through performance, not through a script, through a specific three-part sequence, each part lasting approximately 60 seconds. That works at the neurological level your friendship has never operated on before. Stay with me until the end, because the third part of this sequence is the one that makes the first two irreversible, the one that ensures that what you create in those 3 minutes does not fade when the conversation ends. And once you understand why it works at the biological level, you will realize that what you thought was a closed door was never locked. You simply had not found the right key. And before I give you that key, I need to address something first. If the idea of deliberately shifting the dynamic with someone you care about feels uncomfortable, I want to sit with that for a moment rather than dismiss it, because the discomfort is worth examining. Here is what is actually true. You are not going to manipulate her. You are not going to deceive her. You are not going to manufacture a feeling in her that has no basis in reality. What you are going to do is create the specific conditions under which something real that already exists between you can finally, for the first time, surface. You are not creating something foreign. You are illuminating something that has always been there. And the science I'm about to show you will make that distinction completely clear. Why this works when nothing else does. Most men who find themselves drawn to a female friend try one of two approaches. The first is the indirect approach. They increase their availability, their warmth, their emotional investment. They become more present, more attentive, more giving, hoping that the accumulation of these gestures will eventually tip the balance from friendship into something more. The second is the direct approach, the confession, the moment of explicit declaration that has been building for weeks or months, delivered with everything they have, hoping the honesty of it will produce a reciprocal response. Both approaches fail at roughly the same rate, and they fail for the same reason. Neither of them changes the neurological category she has placed you in. The indirect approach adds more of what already exists in the friendship: more warmth, more care, more emotional comfort. All of this reinforces the category of friend rather than dismantling it. The direct approach produces a different problem. It asks her to respond emotionally to information rather than to experience. And desire does not form in response to information. It forms in response to experience, to something felt in the body, not processed in the mind. Here is the neuroscience of why this matters. Research on the brain's categorization systems shows that once a person has been placed in a social category, the brain processes subsequent information about them through the filter of that category. New information that fits the category is absorbed smoothly. New information that does not fit it creates what neurologists call category conflict. And category conflict, when it occurs in the context of someone you are already emotionally close to, produces a specific and powerful response. The brain does not dismiss the conflicting information. It becomes preoccupied with it. It keeps returning to the thing that does not fit until it has resolved the conflict by revising its model of who that person is. That revision is what the 3 minutes is designed to trigger, not by changing who you are, by revealing a dimension of who you are that her existing category never had room for. The first 60 seconds, breaking the attentional pattern. Every friendship has an attentional pattern, a specific quality of how attention flows between two people, how much is given, in what direction, with what quality. In most friendships, attention is mutual, distributed, warm, but not directed. It is shared rather than focused. And this distributed quality of attention, comfortable as it is one of the primary reasons friendship does not naturally produce desire. The first 60 seconds of the sequence breaks this pattern, not dramatically, with a precision that she will feel without being able to name. You bring your full attention to her in a way she has never received from you before. Not full attention in the social sense of being engaged and present. Full attention in the neurological sense of complete, singular, undivided focus on her as a person. Not the conversation, not what either of you is saying. Her, the specific physical reality of this person in front of you. Research on directed social attention shows that the human brain distinguishes between ordinary attentiveness and what researchers call full spectrum attention, the state in which every channel of a person's awareness is oriented toward a single subject. And the person who receives full spectrum attention from someone they are close to experiences a response that ordinary attentiveness cannot produce: a sudden, slightly disorienting self consciousness, a heightened awareness of themselves, a sense of being perceived with an intensity that does not match the familiar register of the relationship. That disorientation is the category conflict beginning. Her nervous system has received an input from you that does not fit the model, and it immediately begins the process I described earlier, the process of returning to the gap, of trying to reconcile what it just received with what it expected. The first 60 seconds does not produce desire. It produces something more valuable as a foundation. It produces the specific quality of attention she is now paying to you that she was not paying 30 seconds ago. The second 60 seconds, the touch that asks nothing. Pay close attention now, because this is where the sequence moves from neurological to physiological, from something she is processing in her mind to something she is feeling in her body. Research on affective touch, the specific subset of touch that activates the C-tactile afferent nerve fibers in the skin, shows that slow, light, non-sexual physical contact produces a neurochemical response that is qualitatively distinct from ordinary social touch. C-tactile afferents, found primarily on the arms, shoulders, and back, respond specifically to light stroking touch at a speed of approximately 2 to 5 centimeters per second. When activated, they send signals directly to the insular cortex, the part of the brain associated with emotional processing and interoception, producing a release of oxytocin and a measurable reduction in amygdala activation. This is the biology of comfort and warmth at its most fundamental level, and what makes it relevant to this specific context is something that most people do not know about C-tactile afferent activation. The emotional response it produces is colored entirely by the relational context in which it occurs. The same physical input that produces ordinary warmth in a neutral context produces something significantly more powerful in a context of existing emotional closeness and heightened attentional presence. The existing closeness amplifies the neurochemical response. The heightened attentional presence you created in the first 60 seconds has already primed her nervous system to receive input from you with greater sensitivity than usual, which means the touch that asks nothing, delivered in this specific context, lands differently than the same touch would have landed 60 seconds ago. What does this look like in practice? In the natural flow of a moment that is already warm, your hand rests briefly on her arm, or her hand in a way that is not a gesture toward anything. It is not building toward a next step. It is not communicating intention or desire explicitly. It is simply warmly, completely present contact that carries the specific quality of someone who is entirely comfortable in the moment they are inside. The contact lasts a natural 3 to 5 seconds, long enough to activate the C-tactile response, short enough that it does not feel like a statement. She will register it, not dramatically, but she will register it. And what she registers is not the touch itself, but the quality of the man who offered it. The ease, the settledness, the specific absence of the social anxiety that usually accompanies physical contact between friends when one of them is drawn to the other. That absence is what her nervous system reads as the most powerful signal in those 60 seconds. If this sequence is making sense to you right now, take 2 seconds and hit the like button. Because this is the information most men spend years looking for in entirely the wrong places. And every person who engages with this video helps another man find it at the exact moment he needs it. Now let me give you the final 60 seconds, because this is the one that makes everything irreversible. The third 60 seconds, the specific silence. I told you at the beginning that the third part of this sequence is what makes the first two irreversible. That what happens in this final minute ensures that what you created does not fade when the conversation ends. I meant every word of it. And the science behind why is going to explain something about your own experience that you have probably noticed before without ever having language to describe. After the attention and the touch, you create a moment of natural silence, not forced, not planned in any obvious way. The silence that arrives when something real has passed between two people and neither of them immediately rushes to replace it with noise. In that silence, two things happen simultaneously. The first is physiological entrainment. Research consistently shows that when two people in close proximity are both in a state of genuine attentional presence, their autonomic nervous systems begin to synchronize, breathing rhythms align, heart rate variability begins to correlate. The nervous system of each person begins to transmit its regulatory state to the other through the medium of shared physical space. In a state of genuine connection, this transmission is bidirectional. But because you entered this sequence from a place of genuine regulation, from real settled presence rather than managed performance, the transmission is asymmetric. Your nervous system is regulating hers more than hers is regulating yours. She steps into your calm. Not because you did anything to put her there, because the specific quality of your nervous system in that silence transmitted itself into hers through channels that neither of you has any conscious control over. The second thing that happens in that silence is the consolidation of memory. Neuroscience of memory formation shows that emotional memories are consolidated during pauses in stimulation rather than during the stimulation itself. The brain does not record experiences in real time the way a camera records video. It consolidates the emotional significance of an experience in the moments of relative quiet that follow it, which means the 3 minutes, the full emotional and physiological weight of what just occurred between you, is being written into her long term memory during this silence. Not as an intellectual record of what happened, as a bodily memory of how she felt, of the specific quality of warmth and self awareness and physiological calm that your presence produced in her during those 3 minutes. That memory is what she is going to carry with her when she leaves. That is what is going to return to her without permission later that evening. That is what her nervous system is going to seek the next time you are in the same room. Not the memory of what you said or what you did, the memory of how her body felt while it was happening. Why the friend zone cannot survive this. Here is something most people never say clearly about why this sequence works specifically with someone who already knows you as opposed to a stranger. With a stranger, attraction is built on projection. She does not know who you actually are, so the space where you are unknown gets filled by her imagination. The mystery is external. It is the mystery of a person she has not yet had access to. With a friend, the mystery is internal. She thinks she knows exactly who you are. She has a model of you that is specific and detailed and built over real time. And the power of what I have described in these 3 minutes is not that it introduces something foreign into that model, it is that it reveals something that was always in you that her model never had room for. The quality of attention most people never offer, the quality of touch that carries no agenda, the quality of silence that transmits a regulated nervous system through shared physical space. These things were always in you. They simply had never been activated in her presence before. And the moment they are, her model encounters something it cannot contain, a dimension of you that does not fit the category she built. And the brain's response to that conflict, the continuous return of her attention to the thing that does not fit, is indistinguishable from the early stages of desire. Because it is the early stages of desire, not desire manufactured from nothing. Desire ignited from the accumulated emotional material of a real relationship by the specific spark her nervous system needed to transform what was already there into something she finally feels in her body. This is exactly what Madison Miller explores at complete depth, because the navigation of what follows these 3 minutes, how a man moves from this moment without forcing the shift or stepping back from it at exactly the wrong time, is one of the most nuanced and consequential things in the context of an existing friendship. But what I want you to take from tonight is the foundation. 3 minutes, not of performance, not of technique assembled from theory and deployed strategically. 3 minutes of the most honest thing you can offer another person, your full attention, your genuine, comfortable, agenda free physical presence, and the specific quality of silence that allows what has always been between you to finally, without force, without drama, without any declaration that asks her to respond to information rather than experience, become something she feels. She already likes you. She has always liked you. What she has never had is the experience of you that transforms liking into wanting, not a different you. The real you, fully present, in 3 consecutive minutes of contact that her nervous system will remember long after the conversation ends. The friend zone was never about your value. It was about the specific experience of you that desire requires. And that experience costs nothing except the willingness to be completely, unhurriedly, irreversibly real in the moments that matter. You have always been capable of this. The only thing that was ever missing was knowing that it was the thing. Subscribe to this channel right now because this is where the real science of human connection gets spoken in plain language, without the version that stops before it reaches what actually matters. Like this video and share it with someone who has been in this exact situation and believes the window has permanently closed. It has not closed. It was never closed. It was always waiting for exactly this. And the next video goes even deeper into the psychology of what happens after this moment and how to navigate it. Do not miss it.